women's groups have been in existence for decades, fighting for women, girls, and community rights. People often have questions on what their role is when women and girls continue being abused, harassed, and sometimes neglected. There are those who argue that the NGOs are not effective. Often, whenever a situation of abuse occurs, we often hear questions like, where are the feminists? Where are the women's organizations? But is it only to women who are to fight for their rights? Do women and girls abuse themselves? Do we have men, boys who see abuse as bad in our communities? Crisis situations like COVID-19 often expose the margins that exist between women and men, and in this country we already had that these exist. Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe brings women groups together to address the marginalizations that exist and affect girls and women. Thank you for joining me on COVID-19 Talk with Ms Ronica Mumbire, a platform that's talking about everything COVID, what's happening at your home, what's happening in your community, what's happening in your country, internationally even. We always want to hear from you. You know what to do. Contact me on WhatsApp, on text, but we prefer WhatsApp more, and on social media, other social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, on Twitter. We want to hear what's going on in your community. Have you gained a new skill? A lot of Zimbabweans are competing for baking. A lot of people are baking on social media. A lot of people have gained a lot of experiences. Some are cleaning their homes for the very first time after a long time. Tell us what's going on using the contact information that's on your screens. But to talk about more important things in our country that affect women as we had in communities, as we had earlier on, I have Ms Mumbire. Madam, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Nyali.
Ms Mumbire is the chairperson of Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe. Usually we call it WCOZ. Madam, we hear a lot about women's groups. Hanzi, muri effective mimi. We have heard a lot about girls and women being raped. Yes,
Nyali, people say that.
Yeah.
But let me, to say, as a women's coalition, we are doing quite a lot. Allow me to zero down on the work around COVID, because if I talk about the general work of WCOZ, it's a lot of work. Let me zero down on work around WCOZ, around COVID. What actually happens is, as a coalition, one of the works that we do is centered around movement building, building numbers, and being in different spaces around the nation. So we have women's organizations. We also have individuals dotted around the country. And with the onset of COVID, what we did is quickly organized ourselves to make sure that we quickly respond to the pandemic. And one way that we did it is to put ourselves into subcommittees, and these subcommittees then react to different issues that come up in different ways. So we have the subcommittee that deals with lobbying and advocacy, one deals with fundraising, one deals with the frontline responders, because we have organizations that are on the ground.
Which are your members?
Which are our members, yes, which are on the ground and who are actually doing the work on the ground, responding to the COVID. Some are plugged in various task forces at various levels. It could be provincial, it could be district level, and we also have the communications. Because when something like this happens, we need to communicate. We need to give information out there. So over and above just putting ourselves into subcommittees, we've been working hard to make sure that information goes to the people. We have been coming up with infographics that we've been sending out, giving information to the people, and this information has been translated into various languages so that people then get to know. But we have also been on Facebook, Twitter, and other social media platforms, sharing information and doing discussions on that platform, on those platforms. On the lobby side, we have engaged key stakeholders, including the Minister of Health, including the Minister of Labour and Social Welfare, Minister of Women Affairs, giving our concerns and also our recommendations as far as implementation of the response to COVID is concerned. So a lot has been happening. So this is just at the national level. But as we go to the districts, the provinces, we have quite a lot that is also happening from our members within those various spaces.
So you speak about members. Who are your members? You're talking about, because I'm trying to understand how you manage to do all this work. So who are the kind of people that you're referring to as members?
Like I said at the beginning, we have members who are women's rights organizations, who join the Women's Coalition as members. For example, we have organizations like Musasa. We have organizations like Zimbabwe Women's Bureau, Jekesa Fungwa Volinondo. Those are some of the organizations. And if you see some of these organizations, they are grassroots organizations and they have presence in most of the spaces where we are. So they take all the information that is discussed at that national level and be able to also share it within the various communities where they work. So over and above the organizations, we also have individual organizations. We have members who
individual
join,
members.
Yes, individual members who join in chapters. So in each province, we have chapters that represent the Women's Coalition in those spaces. So they also then carry the information and take it to the grassroots.
Absolutely. So we're learning from you that not only can people complain about you, but you have this amazing work that you're doing through your members. And I do understand that we have more than how many NGOs are part of your network?
Over 100.
Over 100 women's groups or yes. NGOs who then are saying whatever you are doing in terms of representing their issues, they then take it to the grassroots, and by the grassroots we're saying because I think you spoke about my old women's organization like Jekesa Fungwa. Those are organizations very mu community munaraunda vanozoshanda ne community, but we also know that izvinezvi vanhu vanga vasiri kushanda nenyaya yeCovid, but I don't want to center on that. I know kuti community menyu munoweka nema members amataura the more than 100, which I know they are dotted across the 10 provinces. Do you have a feedback mechanism yekuti vanokudziva kuti mucommunity makamira say as far as COVID is concerned, and what are the issues if you have such mechanisms dzekuti vanofeed into the coalition?
We have a feedback mechanism. So in each chapter we have committees and national coordinators who are linked to the national. So as activities are happening within the districts and the provinces, they closely link with the national on a daily basis. And since the COVID lockdown, we have started releasing daily strip, and these are informed by what is happening within the communities from these people within in the field, and also the members as they move around town. So we have this feedback mechanism. We also do meetings, weekly meetings, and each subcommittee also arranges to meet virtually every week to feed into the information to the national response plan.
Right. That sounds to me like you do have amazing platforms that people are feeding into. When we come back from the break, we want to understand how you are using that information in the community from your members. What is the purpose of that organizing? How does it help the person who's watching? Because sometimes women's coalition how does it affect me? How does it help me? Do not go away, stay with us. We come back, we want to explore all these things. Welcome back to COVID-19 Talk with Nyarima Shayamumbe. Today I have a lady from Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe who's telling us about the response from the NGOs that are organizing, that are feeding into the national response mechanism. Mumbire, before we went on the break, you had already started telling us about the more than 100 members that you have dotted across the country in the form of NGOs, but also as individual members who feed into your daily feedback mechanism? What are you using that information for?
The information that we gather from feedback, we use it for lobbying and advocacy. Tikaibatanidza information iyoyo tinoitumira kuma-relevant stakeholders kuti vabatsirike in the COVID response. So we share some of the information with the Minister of Health, Minister of Women Affairs. For those who may not get information directly, we also share on social media so that they can access it. Most of the information that we have does not apply to the national response alone. It even applies at very local level.
Right.
And obviously we can't be moving in each office giving out that information. So those can also access it on social media because we flight that information. And just to speak about the issues that are coming up. And
I was going to actually ask you about that.
Yeah.
So please do let us know the information is across the country. What is the situation around the country, not only about women and girls, but about the communities?
We have information that is coming through to say there is lack of awareness around COVID. Yes, people can speak about COVID to say there is a disease, a virus that is affecting people.
Right.
But when you look at the information that serves the community, it's not there. People are not aware how they're supposed to behave to prevent the spread of the virus. Some of them, because there are lots of myths and misinformation in various platforms, you realize that they actually say COVID,
wow. Yes.
Some of them say that. Some of them actually say, which is quite sad. Because we have seen and witnessed people even when still now it's getting into the raw areas. Saka all that needs to be worked around and be kept. Kuti vanhu vawane gap iroro rifilike. Zvimwe zviri kubuda zvine chekuita ne-gender-based violence. We are hearing several cases of gender-based violence. We are receiving calls and quite a number of women are being abused within the homes. Not to say that it's only the women who are abused, but you know, more numbers are associated with abuse of women. So these are some of the concerns then that are coming up to say how can these women be assisted in these conditions, but also looking at non-COVID services that then became affected by the lockdown, issues around SRH and collection of
sexual reproductive health,
yes,
right?
And a collection of art for those that need to take the medicine. So this also needs to be taken into consideration.
So by
to
the
make
way,
sure that
art is the antiretroviral therapy,
yes,
for those who are living with HIV. And,
yes.
Yeah.
So all those are concerns, but also talking about the actual implementation of how people should behave. Like for example, issues around social distancing.
Right.
Takatasa nyaya social distancing nyari. Tine matambudziko ekuti at times people are grappling between getting the necessities and also being safe. So kwanzi kwabuda upfu kuma-tuck shop. Upfu wabuda kuma-tuck shop, everybody wants to get a bag of meal because it's a scarce commodity. And when we get there is pressure. Because so that is not happening. In several spaces we realize that this has not been happening. People have not really been maintaining this social distance. And people have also even been visiting each other, having parties in the homes, going kumashabini, which shows lack of a bit of some carelessness in terms of how we respond to COVID. So it's really an issue and it needs to be looked into. So one other thing that has also been of concern, health system has always not been on the good side, even before COVID. So you realize that after the COVID, then the issues then even multiply, because we don't have a strong health system. We don't have protective clothing for the health workers,
which is a global problem as well.
Exactly. Going to the rural areas, it becomes even worse. Yes, if we talk about the Paraniatwas and our big hospitals, it could be better, but in the rural areas it becomes even worse, and it exposes the health workers to they become then high risk workers, and this needs to be urgently looked into. And I'm hoping the monies that are coming in should address some of these things to say, how do we protect the workers that are doing the work in the hospitals? How do we provide what is needed within the hospitals? How do we provide the best service in this crisis? So it's one of the things that needs to be done.
That was great. And this is Madam Mumbire, Chairperson of Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe. It's a coalition of group of organizations that come together that defend women, girls, and community rights. Don't go away, stay with us. We come back and we conclude this episode. Welcome back to COVID-19 Talk with Nyarima Shamambe, where I'm talking to the lady from Women's Coalition of Zimbabwe, who's telling us the current situation on women around many issues in Zimbabwe. And we had already started talking about how they are receiving cases, about how they're receiving feedback from how people are behaving in the communities, and she also touched about some of the key issues that are coming up from the communities as well. And Mumbire, before we go forward, don't go by example, even not only kumamisha kwa mambotora kwekwe nezurona ndiri mushopu inini anditika ndikapinda mushopu mamwe mashops zvakanaka varubva vati haupinde kana usina mask, haupinde kana usina, varubva vakutambidza uchigezwa nesanitizer yako, ndinosvarira izvi. Pane vamwe Mumbire vekuti uchisvika zvingoripo, dzimwe nguva zviripo zvisi kuchengetedzwa zvisi kuita sei. Vanhu vacho ndobva ndati koneimi hamusi kukurudzira vanhu zvikabva zvanzi covid resistor covid ndeyamwari tochengetwa naMwari. Mushop, a shop that is supposed to look after the lives of people, but they are reckless. That's reckless. For me, it's reckless because you can't talk about irresponsible. If I was to go to the Bible that this person is talking about, you shall not tempt the Lord your God. But even this symbolic poresa de akadona paspego. But you are kudzoti garamu mpageza maoko zviri kufamba sei Mumbire?
Zviri kuitika zvakaoma. Zvauri kutaura izvozvo zviri kusangana nezvimwe zvatakatonzwa izvozvi zvitoripo panyaya dzatiri kukurukura nezvadzo dzine chekuita nemamaski, ekuti mamaski ari kuedzeswa vanhu. Munhu anototora maski woti iyi inondifita here odzosera, iyi kwa iyi inondifita here ozoti iyi ndo yandinodai, pamwe aedza kana 5
aregwa achiedza muchitoro
achingoedza mamaski. Zvimwe zviri vamwe vari kuti kana akuda kupinda mushopu voti ugondipawo maski yako kana wakubuda ndigopindawo kunotenga. Wow. Saka zvose izvozvo zviri kuitika, ndinoda kuti ndingopa muchidimbu kuti ngatikoshesei zvatiri kuudzwa. Kungogeza maoko chaiwo sipo chaiyo wogeza maoko ako close to 20 seconds uchigeza maoko ako uchinyatsomaita zvakanaka zvinobatsira. Tiri kuudzwa nyaya yesocial distance kwauri ikoko, kana uri kujerera kana uri kuguruve kupi, ukaenda paunoenda pane vanhu vakawanda, tarisa kuti uri pedo nani, siyana nekumira pedo nevanhu. 1 hour 1 meter zvichienda kumberi womira ipapo womeka shuwa kuti hausi padhuze nevanhu. Ngatisashanyira nei mazuva ano, tinoshanyirana kundoitei kuzvinhu zvakamira zvakadai. Munhu nemunhu ngaagare kumba kwake. Kana ukange uchikosora chaiko, unokosorera mutishu rako unyatsorikanda pakanaka worirasa, kana kukosorera mugokora rako kudai, usakosorere mumaoko nokuti utachiona unotora
ipapo vamwe vari kuti hatina mari dzekutenga mamaski.
Tinozviziva kuti mari iyi haiwanikwi zvakadero, asi mukateerera kana speech yakapiwa napresident anzi kana mahomemade chaiwo anogona kutongogezwa, wori wacha wori aina wori peka futi mangwana. ngatisvikei pasi chaipo pokuti tingoedza kuavoida kuti mate edu atapukire pano umwe munhu kutongotora kana chijira chiri kumba kwako unyatsochiwacha zvakanaka wombochiaina uchiri kutsvaka hako mari yako wongofamba wakachipfeka ndanga ndichitofamba
sambo aina Mumbire mazuva hatina magetsi kana nenguva iyanye yecrisis kaizvo complicate ndikatora kana dhuku rangu ndikarifolda katunda tombovhara ndaenda
patanga ndichifamba ndandichitoona vamwe masiki yacho unenge ainayo asi yakarembedzwa iri saka zviri kubatsirei saka ngatingoteererai zvatiri kuudzwa ndo zviri kubva kumana mazvikokota avane chekuita nehealth
inini kuinterpreta kwandiri ndezvekuti vamwe vacho vari kuti hatina mari chakuti dhuku rangu chero even ichi chandakapfeka ndisina Mumbire kwekuti ndichida kutobuda panzeka nyangwe ndine chinhu changu chakadai so ndombochipeta kudai so ndatosunga chiripo kunyaya kuti mate ako ngaasaende kunext person kana kuti mate emumwe ngaasanokurove iwewe and saka ndoona kunge tiri kuzvicomplicate anyway Mumbire ndoziva kuti nguva yenyu muruda kumhanya takanangana nezvinhu zvimwe zvamataura zvakawanda zvekuti madzimai ari kushaya upfu madzimai akadini muda kuti chii kuhurumende yedu takanzwa kuti kune ma18 billion ari kubudiswa napresident mataura matambudziko akawanda ari kusangana nemadzimai nenharaunda
zvatiri kukurudzira kuti zviitwe ndezvokuti kana zvinhu zvakaita semanecessities akaita seupfu zvichibuda paunenge wakudistributwa there should be gender sensitivity because when we get to the shops where the hustle on meal happens, most of the women don't get to access it. So we want a proper strategy that makes sure that equal number of women and men get the commodity and go home. Around issues of the markets, we are excited about the arrangement, but we also want to make sure that even where the markets are stationed, hygiene is exercised and there is compliance to whole principle on those spaces, because at times people.
You mean World Health Organization principles?
Yes, and because at times people relax, and it's business as usual on those spaces. So we want those to be continuously maintained at various levels. Chimwe chikumbiro chatinacho kuhurumende ndechekuti zvipatara zvedu zvinge zvakavandudzwa. It's very important even kuvashandi kuti vapindewo muchipatara chiri well equipped chichiita kuti basa ravo rifambe zvakanaka. This issue of COVID-19 is a risk to the frontline workers, and they need to be motivated. They need to be given a safe space for them to be able to operate confidently. There's also one other issue around quarantining, we need to ask the government to be gender sensitive when giving people spaces for quarantining. For example, we know there will be men and women, possibly women would have children along them. So we need also to have a gender-sensitive allocation of spaces for quarantining so that it's recognized that there are children within the space, there are women within the spaces. If possible, even providing in those spaces accessibility to sanitary way around so that women are able to access.
And I think I'm also just thinking about the issue of contraception, the issue of, I know it's a very controversial issue around contraception, but also the issue of family planning for women, because I think one of the key issues that has been coming is that women have been unable to access family planning pills, their family planning pills, as well as what their day-to-day needs. So just thinking around in a quarantine, what is the women's day-to-day needs? What are the girls' day-to-day needs? Things like cotton wool, things like pads, so sanitary wear to be provided in those platforms. Citizens, it was so great having Ms Mumbire on our show talking about the situation of women in communities around COVID and a lot of issues that came out. I think most of them also affect us as citizens, how responsible or irresponsible we've been, and how we talk about or how we think that it will disappear. I mean, a lot of educated people even that are really behaving recklessly, that are rushing to go to saloons, that are rushing to do a lot of these things that shouldn't be happening. I think we need to contain and to continue identifying and realizing our harm and our potential threat by making sure that we're washing our hands for at least 20 seconds with soap. We need to make sure that we maintain social distancing of at least 1 meter to 2 meters. We need to make sure that we wash ourselves and our clothes when we are coming from a very busy area. We need to make sure that we are covering ourselves, because we don't need to have fancy masks. We can use what we have to protect our health and the protect of others. Until next time on COVID-19 Talk with Ms Ronica Mumbire, have a good one. Hey Mhlobo family, thank you for joining me today. Let's keep talking. Join our social media platforms and tell us how you're beating COVID-19. Tell us your stories. What's happening in your communities? Is everything okay? Reach us on our WhatsApp numbers, text numbers, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube channels. Tell us about the good, the ugly, the funny, the talents, the skills you developed during this time. For families or couples, tell us the most funny or unbelievable thing you learned about your partner or your child or your family. You may find yourself on our TV show the next time, or you may win a cool prize from us if we like your story. Remember, write in proper spellings. No shorthand accepted. Ciao!